So I finally seen Emilia Pérez. Now that I have, I can wholeheartedly say, confidently, in my, gut and core, what the f are the Academy smoking?
It's just so unintentionally hilarious, the whole thing.
Man to woman, from penis to vagina.
This man right here who put the whole movie together specifically wanted Selena Gomez.
Her Spanish and her accent really contributes to the inauthenticity of the movie.
It has terrible critical reception, and I hear nothing but bad things about this.
Changing the soul changes society. Changing society changes it all.
Changing society changes the soul, which changes society, which changes the soul, which is circular, but it doesn't matter because bad music.
This is the longest damn airplane I've ever heard.
Hello, I'm Salem, and welcome to my commentary channel, where we take serious topics and dissect them in a not so serious way. Today's topic, Emilia Pérez.
From penis to vagina.
You done lost your damn mind. When you get your damn mind, you call me.
Hello everybody, it is me, Salem, and welcome back to my Chanel 2025 edition. As you can see, my background has changed a little bit, and even I have changed a little bit. I got a new little hairstyle or whatever.
I like a little edge and a little pop in my hair, so I wanted to add something different, especially for the Teen Vogue party.
I'd be given Macaroni Penguin, but Slay edition, Although seasons come, seasons go, people go, some remain, I will always stay the same. And complain, yes.
Hey y'all, it's your girl back at it again, and guess what I'm doing today? I am complaining.
In my last video, where I talk about all the things that we need to leave in 2024, all the drama, all the negativity, and the messiness. Unfortunately, this year has already started off as a huge mess. I woke up one morning and I was like, this year's gonna be my year. I'm feeling all the good vibes, but then the devil heard and he was like, did I just hear Salem saying that she's gonna have a good year? Let me get involved real quick. First of all, TikTok is officially getting banned, which I kind of don't believe still, because I swear they say that every single week.
President Trump, if you see this, please save us.
Not only is TikTok getting banned, apparently David Dobrik is back, and now he's buff. Cody Ko is back too, with the most boring ass content I've ever seen in my life.
Being creative, doing this type of thing, it's just in my DNA. I need to do it, and
more like it's time to wrap it up. But the nail in the coffin for me that is showing me that this year is going to be a mess is that this won a Golden Globe over Wicked.
Yes.
Every now and then, I get very passionate, about a film or artist. I felt that way, especially about Wicked. Wicked, to me, was a life-altering experience, I watched it 4 times. 4 times! When Cynthia Erivo sang The Wizard and I shed a tear, The big finale of them singing Defying Gravity, I think I levitated with Elphaba. So to find out that the people who worked so hard on Wicked, I'm talking blood, sweat, and tears, Cynthia doing flips and somersaults mid-air while belting. Anyways, you're telling me all of that was for nothing? You know what's truly wicked? The fact that Emilia Pérez, the worst musical I've ever seen in my life, with the worst writing, worst plot, worst director, won a Golden Globe for Best Musical of the Year. Y'all, fast forward me to 2026 because this ain't it. Now, many of you guys may not know, but I'm Latina.
What are you?
I'm literally Mexican.
And this film has started a massive conversation on the side of social media that is the Latino community. I'm saying everyone is pissed, not only about the Golden Globe Award, but just the creation all around, that people are going viral on TikTok, on YouTube talking about it, because it truly is that big of a deal. And I have seen some American YouTubers and TikTokers talking about why it's so problematic that this film won or was even created that I'm like, let me take all the cheesemint and conversation that's going on in the Latino sphere and put it onto here for you guys, because this is so much deeper than a Golden Globe. I'm talking this film making fun of Mexican culture by romanticizing gang members in Mexico. I'm talking the director saying that they could not find any talent in Mexico, so therefore they had to hire Selena Gomez to play the part, someone who, as time and time again, refused to learn the language or represent us properly. Having a plot about transgender people and doing it in the most distasteful way possible that it even disappointed the trans community. Y'all, this is a mess. And I feel like not everyone's talking about the behind the scenes problematicness of this whole film, other than the fact that it got nominated for a Golden Globe. Not only should this have never won a Golden Globe, but it should have never been created, period. You know your film is bad when you tried making an inclusive, woke movie about people of color, Mexican culture, transgender people, and yet you still somehow managed to piss off everyone. It truly is beautiful, quite frankly, like just how much this film has really brought together the Latino community and the trans community, the musical nerds community, even Ben Shapiro, all of us coming together in this beautiful arrangement of hatred for this film, because it's that bad. On this film, okay? Oh, I'm already fuming. I'm just sick and tired of Mexican culture being portrayed as nothing but gang violence, dusty, crusty roads. It's really sad. The only proper representation that we have as Mexicans is Turbo the Snail and that one cholo car from the movie Cars. And on top of it, girl, how are you gonna make a musical and the music is ass too?
Very nice to meet you. I'd like to know about sex change operation. I see.
Find the note.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get dragged from my highlights for making this video. But you know, guys, if you guys disagree with anything I say in this video, make sure to comment down below so I can get more money from it. If you like this film, that's okay. You are allowed to like things. We are allowed to like things. But we're also allowed to criticize things, especially as someone who is literally part of the Mexican community, not only tying to my culture and my background, but also other people from other backgrounds are upset at this film for very valid reasons. And it's not even a critique of it being offensive mainly, but there are just other aspects to this film that falls completely short, plot-wise, directing-wise, and music-wise, that it's genuinely shocking to think that this film won a Golden Globe. I think that the topics, plot, and idea behind the musical could have been very, very strong, impactful, and done correctly if only everyone who were part of the project did their freaking job or put an ounce of effort to actually properly represent the communities that this film profited off of. So just as you may have valid points as to why you may like the film, we can agree to disagree. We can be cordial and respectful about it, even if I'm right. But anyways, let me just lubricate my lips before I start to drag these hoes. Get comfy, get into bed with me, and let's dissect Emilia Pérez and the mess that it is. Now, y'all know I took a little breaky break. I just had to really take a break before I got back into the YouTube game. I really spent all my time sleeping, eating, and shopping. Speaking of shopping, Shopify. So it's 2025, right? I know a lot of y'all have a lot of resolutions to invest in yourself or invest in something else, maybe start a business. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, I could finally sell those candles I've always wanted to be selling. But you're like, wait a minute. Where do I even start? Well, let me tell you exactly where you're gonna start. You're gonna start with Shopify. Shopify makes shopping and selling so much easier. You can get your store up and running in no time with thousands of customizable templates, no coding, no design skills needed, thank God. Seriously, it's really simple because Shopify actually takes care of the shipping, taxes, and payments all on one dashboard. So you can just focus on what matters, which is growing your business. So this year, don't put off your dream of becoming a business owner. With Shopify, your first sale is closer than you think. So what are you waiting for? Business owner in 2025 sounds really good, doesn't it? So sign up right now for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/Salem Tovar, which is all in lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Salem Tovar and start selling with Shopify today. Now, apart from getting that shmoney in 2025, I have also been manifesting good health for not only me, but for y'all. Even though all of us have resolutions, sometimes it's really easy to get caught up. This year, we are not putting off our health. And thanks to Zocdoc, it's super easy and fast. Zocdoc is a free app and website that makes it easy to find and book high quality in-network doctors. You can filter doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, who meet your very specific needs across every specialty, such as mental health, dental health, skincare, primary care, to even urgent care. And once you find the right doctor, you can instantly book an appointment. No more waiting like 2 years to meet up with a doctor who's just like, girl, you're fine, drink water. So I actually genuinely use it, and you should too. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and prioritize your health this year. Go to zocdoc.com/Salem to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's zocdoc.com/Salem. Zocdoc.com/Salem.
Jessie, Rita, and Emilia, they were all Mexican characters. So we did a big search. We were open, and we did a big search in Mexico and in the US and in Spain and all Latin America. And then we wanted to keep it really authentic. But at the end of the day, the best actors who embodied these characters are the ones that are right here, right? So we had to figure out how to adjust authenticity, which I'm sure you ladies also said something, with the accents and, them not being necessarily native Mexican.
Part 1. Emilia Pérez and the adjusting authenticity problem. When real people with real problems turn into fiction.
I was so excited for Emilia Pérez. The first time I saw anything about Emilia Pérez was this viral clip of Selena Gomez putting in her entire heart, soul, and Selena Ussi into her role as Jessie. And so many people in the comment section were like, wait, why does she kind of eat? I love you like a love song, baby. Not gonna lie, her old music was it was so good. So not only were people excited for that, for her to finally get back into kind of the music game, but to finally get back into the acting game, because people enjoyed her so much as Alex Russo on Wizards of Waverly Place that it's kind of cool to see her go into a serious role, especially a role that mixes the two mediums that she's known for, music and acting. She has really grown as an actor as well by being in shows such as Only Murders in the Building that have also won a lot of awards. People started to talk about how this viral clip is from an upcoming movie called Emilia Pérez that not only stars Selena Gomez, but a bunch of other very talented actors as well. Starring Carla Sofia and Zoe Saldana. It's set in Mexico. It has cultura, even a trans woman who was actually casted to be in a trans role. Like, there was a lot going for this film until there wasn't.
And nothing can go wrong. Oh no, it all went wrong.
Not only did this film manage to piss off Mexican and Latino film goers because of the amount of racist stereotypes and inaccuracies in our culture being depicted in this film, also the transgender community was not super stoked about how they presented the transgender journey. The plot was very ignorant and romanticized a lot of very real, deep and dark problems in Mexico, but also simultaneously trivialized the transgender experience. And the worst part is that did all that through song.
Changing the soul changes society changes it all. Man to woman,
from penis to vagina. Find the note.
Yeah, it's a musical. Which, by the way, I love musicals. I know people have a natural tendency to hate them because they think they're cringe or whatever, but I love the theatrics. It's blasphemy to make a musical that has no good music. And unfortunately, this film also did that. Nothing quite says good music like this segment in Emilia Pérez that is a Spanish rap song that has to do with gang members kidnapping and literally bring children.
Oh, that's no. In the sense that, no. You know what I mean?
This is just a reminder. That won over Wicked. If you guys don't know the plot of Emilia Pérez, let me break it down for you. Emilia Pérez is a 2024 Spanish language musical crime film directed by French filmmaker Jacques Diard. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not going to bother to learn how to pronounce it because he didn't even bother to cast people who know how to pronounce things either. So
the film follows Juan Manitas del Monte, who is played by Carla, a notorious Mexican cartel leader who desires to leave criminal life behind and live authentically as a woman, Emilia Pérez. She enlists the help of Rita Mora Castro, who is played by Zoe, an underappreciated lawyer, to facilitate her transition into Emilia Pérez. After undergoing gender-affirming surgery, Emilia attempts to reconnect with her family, including her wife, Jessie, who is played by Selena Gomez, and their children, who have been relocated for safety reasons. Emilia introduces herself as a distant cousin of Manitas, her past self, to integrate back into everyone's lives, as Emilia strives to atone for her violent cartel past by establishing a nonprofit to help families of cartel victims. Unfortunately, with this transition and good intentions, tensions rise, leading to a very tragic confrontation. The tragic ending being, spoiler alert, I know y'all ain't gonna watch it anyways. Everyone dies. Emilia, Jesse, and Gustavo are all involved in a fatal car accident, resulting in their deaths. But following this tragedy, Rita becomes the guardian of Emilia's and Jesse's children, continuing Emilia's legacy by overseeing the nonprofit organization aimed at aiding families affected by cartel violence. Now, if you're hearing that plot and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, that's not that bad.
I don't get it. You uncultured swine!
It is the most unrealistic, stereotypical, harmful, uneducated, ignorant, problematic, and dumbest execution of a plot and film I've ever seen. And that is why so many people have a problem with this film. They try so hard to take themselves serious in this film, trying to make light of serious, deep, dark, confusing, complex realities of marginalized people in many different communities, places, and cultures that it almost feels insulting. They try to grab the authentic and put it through basically a cheese grater to make it seem as inauthentic as possible for many of the characters involved in their journeys in the film. Everything in this film was way too black and white. The way that they portray the transgender journey by boiling it down to from penis to vagina, yes, because it's definitely that easy. Or how they approach a very real problem of the cartel gang violence by simply just start a nonprofit and they'll stop.
That I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles and we'd all eat it, be happy.
She doesn't even go here.
You can tell that this director has no idea what he's doing in this film. The reason why so many things feel inauthentic in this film is because they themselves admitted to fabricating authenticity and adjusting authenticity.
And then we wanted to keep it really authentic. But at the end of the day, the best actors who embodied these characters are the ones that are right here, right? So we had to figure out how to adjust authenticity, which I'm sure you ladies also said something.
This explains so much as to why this film comes off the way that it does. If you have to adjust authenticity, then it's not authentic. And at that point, you are taking very real, serious problems, themes, and people in your film and turning them into fiction and erasing everything that they are and can be. The director of this film did not care about learning anything about Mexican culture or the very serious nature of gang affiliated violence over there in Mexico and how very real it is to be terrified over there. But also that's like not the only thing Mexico has to offer. People act as if that's like the only thing, as if we don't have beautiful culture, food, music, beaches, and the friendliest people ever. This French director didn't even bother checking in with any community before making this film. I feel like a lot of people are probably gonna watch this video and view me as being a complainer, that I'm just looking too deep into it, that I'm being a hater, that I'm being too woke. You know what? Some of that's true, but I feel like in my
culture in our community, we're never like allowed to complain about things. Whenever we want representation, it's hard to get it because no one is willing to put in the work. And whenever culture is represented well, like for example, like Disney's Coco, big corporations go around and try to bite our culture in the ass by trying to trademark Dia de los Muertos so that they can profit off of it. And I would compare that to the whole Emilia Pérez project, where this director clearly took two very marginalized communities, profited off of it, and somehow won a Golden Globe.
And despite all my criticisms, I'm actually not surprised that it won.
Because so many people confuse acting crazy as good acting.
Excessively and aggressively rolling your R's is dramatic.
And no facial expressions as being serious.
And all the yellow tint used to represent Mexico is real. The acting completely deranged and crazy equals good acting. Emilia Pérez is a film that tricks you into thinking that it's good with its cinematography, bright lights, and stereotypical Mexican aesthetics, and making you think that it's authentic, deep, and culturally explosive, when in reality it's just a stereotypical mess. Ultimately, every single actor in this film did their very best with what was given to them, even to the point where Zoe Saldana won a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Role in a musical. And we can't say that the actors didn't try to put their 2 cents in about, hey, this is probably gonna be problematic because none of us are Mexican. She herself talked to the directors about how her Spanish accent is not Mexican sounding at all, and how this would throw off authenticity of the film. Carla also mentioned stuff about them having to twist authenticity constantly, but it seems like their grievances weren't heard. And because of the director's pride and ego and lazy writing, everyone else involved in the project was dragged to hell and back, especially one of the actresses.
This isn't the first time that he's worked on a film outside of his native language, which is French. Zoe and Selena both had conversations with Jacques prior to filming the movie, where Zoe said, look, I'm Dominican, I don't look Mexican. I need to make this known in the movie that I am Dominican because otherwise this is inauthentic. Selena Gomez also has a conversation with Jacques being like, look, I'm Mexican American, I don't speak Spanish fluently, I don't speak it very often, I can understand it a lot more. And he's like, okay, cool, you're Chicana, let's go with a Spanglish type. Selena said that she hired a dialect coach, but she just didn't have enough time in order for her accent to become authentic. No, that's where people are gonna come out and be like, then hire someone who's from Mexico, then hire someone who speaks Spanish. Here's the thing, Jacques, this man right here who put the whole movie together, specifically wanted Selena Gomez. That was never going to be a role for anyone else. He was never going to seek anyone else for that role. They didn't want an actual sports reporter. They wanted Addison Rae. They wanted her clout. This man sought after her, okay? Any other role was a little more up for grabs, but her role was made for her. That's why they developed her role into making it a Mexican-American character.
Jessie, Rita, and Emilia, they were all Mexican characters. But at the end of the day, the best actors who embodied these characters are the ones that are right here, right? So we had to figure out how to adjust authenticity, which I'm sure you ladies also said something with the accents and you know, them not being necessarily native Mexican.
Me cortó la lana, cerró la llave, no funciona ninguna tarjeta, todas mis cuentas están bloqueadas. Me quiere robar a mis hijos. ¡Mírala! Tesoro mis cuentas. Calma, tranquila. ¿Cómo tiene esto?
We need to talk about something in particular. I kind of deep dove into it earlier in this video, but this genuinely needs its own section. And quite frankly, I'm afraid to say this, y'all, because I know how y'all get. I know how you guys be defending your faves as if they pay your bills, but trust, I do not feel bad for any billionaire. I don't care who they are. We need to talk about Selena Gomez and why this has been such a major highlight in the overall conversation of the problematic nature of Emilia Pérez.
Part 2, the systematic problem with stereotypes, stigmas, and Selena Gomez.
Now, I'm gonna start off this section by saying I literally don't have anything against Selena Gomez. I think she is a genius businesswoman. Her team really knows how to market her. Her makeup is actually really good. And like I said, I be getting down to some Disney Channel jams. You know, when I was younger, I was definitely keeping an eye out for Selena. But there is a much deeper conversation surrounding Selena Gomez in the Latino community. How Selena has never and basically will never be good representation for our community.
Hey, mama, yeah, we're like, yes, they work and slay, and yes, over here, like, yeah.
I'm not gonna go in too deep about what other people have said in the community because there has been a lot of conversation, even to the point where it's been on like Latino news. But if you are interested as to why other people in the community feel like Selena Gomez isn't good representation and how this has been a conversation for years in the Latino community and you weren't aware and you want to know more about it, I highly recommend watching this video by Cam Guardo called Selena Gomez La Falsa Latinidad con Emilia Pérez, which just translates to Selena Gomez's false Latina identity and the horrible problem with the Emilia Pérez movie. I highly recommend it. It's a good watch. You can always put on subtitles. Another really good video that you guys can watch is by another Hispanic YouTuber by the name of Washingo, who actually has 1 million subscribers. So when I say y'all that there's a big problem in the Latino community on our side of social media, in our realm, I really mean it. His video almost got 1 million views too. His video is called Emilia Pérez es peor de lo que imaginas, which just translates to Emilia Pérez is a lot worse than you could ever imagine. Again, put on the caps and you'll hear what other people are saying about it in my culture, in our community. I definitely highly recommend these videos to kind of get more of an insight of this section in order to understand the cultural context as to why a lot of people in the Latino community consider Selena a controversial figure for representation and how it's a lot more political, deeper, and crazier than you think. The stuff that I will be talking about in this section is mainly about people calling her a no sabo and how other iconic actors and actresses in Mexico are also calling out Selena Gomez because of this role.
The one thing that the musical Emilia Pérez and Selena Gomez have in common is that they're both very digestible. They're comfortable. The reason why Selena Gomez gets casted in a lot of roles and is kind of seen as the, oh, she's the Latina of Disney Channel and she's the Latina of music and this and that is because she's very much easy on the eyes. She's easy for the taste buds. You know what I mean? She's not too Mexican. She's not too dark skinned. She doesn't have too much native features. Now, y'all know I have talked about Hispanic culture a lot. There are good things about our culture and there is bad things about our culture, like any other culture. But when it comes to media, Hispanic culture is very colorist and anti-native. It's very strange, where the only representation on media is what you would call digestible Latinas, who are light-skinned. They don't have native features. They don't make you too uncomfortable. They're very white passing, and I fear that Selena has always been in that archetype. And there has been conversation in the Latino community forever surrounding Selena Gomez and how she kind of represents that problematic cultural expectation. She has never been open really about her culture unless it's to profit off of it, make a product from it, make fun of our people by doing characters of cholas, despite her not fully embracing the culture or even knowing the language, which is another thing that she plays on a lot to be the butt of a joke.
Your dad was a Batman.
My dad was Batman?
No, not Batman. Your dad was a Batman.
She time and time again shows the Latino community that she taps in and out of code switching whenever it benefits her. And it's really hurtful. But for some reason,
Seriously? Shut your face. Who else could it be?
Hollywood makes it seem like she is the ultimate token Latina to represent us all, and that she should always be the one that's chosen for Latina-based projects and opportunities, which makes full-blooded Mexicans lose out on opportunities, just as the role for Jessie Del Monte, who was originally supposed to be full Mexican and know the language and be fluent in it, but the director found out that Selena cannot speak the language, and instead of getting a new actor, he instead switched the role to be Mexican American. And many people were either not fazed by this change or very fazed by this change.
There's nothing wrong with being a no sabo. That's obviously clear. I just think that there is always a barrier between cultures if you don't understand the language, because Spanish language is so expressive that if you don't know what the words mean, you're not really going to deliver them correctly.
The accent as a Mexican American is pretty bad. Like, this is almost unwatchably bad. I mean, I was born in America, pero yo sé hablar español muy bien. Y escuchando algo así, no, pues me da pena.
La actuación de Selena Gomez.
Es indefendible la actuación de Selena Gomez.
Selena es
indefendible. O sea, yo estaba ahí con gente que nos volteamos a ver cada vez que venía una escena, nos volteamos a ver como decir, wow, ¿qué es
yo
esto?
Dije, volteé a ver a la persona con la que la vi en Festival de Morelia y le dije, no puedo creer cómo la gente no se está riendo.
Now, the term no sabo was used a lot in those clips. And for my non-Hispanic people out there who are watching this and they're like, I don't know what that is. Well, I got you. Basically, a no sabo refers to a person of Latino descent and heritage who does not speak fluent Spanish or speaks broken Spanish. It originates from basically mispronouncing and misusing the term no sé, which means I don't know in Spanish, and mixing it together to create kind of like the broken version no sabo, which is a common phrase amongst young Latino and Latinas who aren't very good at the grammar part of Spanish. And although this term is used as a joking manner, it can be seen as really rude, almost like to belittle young Latinos and Latinas, kind of implying that they lack cultural integrity and authenticity. This term has been applied to Selena Gomez for a very, very long time because even she has admitted that she doesn't speak very good Spanish. And very often, every role that she plays in any TV show or SNL skit or anything ever, she kind of is known for kind of making it a joke that she's a no sabo, which is why a lot of people are hesitant to have her as representation in the Latina community.
I personally grew up in the church, so I never really got to watch novelas or listen to Hispanic music or anything like that. Stuff happens, you know? I'm barely now getting connected to my roots. So I don't blame people who aren't super connected to your culture because sometimes you can't help it. That's just how it is.
And even though the conversation around Selena Gomez being a no sabo has been around for years, it recently got relit due to her role in Emilia Pérez, especially when Mexican actor and icon Eugenio went on a podcast to talk about how he felt watching the film.
Mexican actor Eugenio Pérez talked about Selena Gomez as well and how he was disappointed to hear her accent.
Estaba ahí con gente que nos volteamos a ver cada vez que venía una escena, nos volteamos a ver como decir, wow, ¿qué es
yo
esto?
Dije, volteé a ver a la persona con la que la vi en Festival de Morelia y le dije, no puedo creer cómo la gente no se está riendo.
No puedo creer que nadie esté hablando de eso. No puedo creer que nadie...
Porque les da miedo hablar de Selena Gomez.
Sí.
I only inserted a little bit of pieces here and there of that interview / podcast with Eugenio in this section, but he actually went on to say a lot of things that honestly were very much valid. Eugenio is saying it's not that it's her Spanish, it's the enunciation, the cadence, the pacing, and the overall flow of how she's delivering the lines in Spanish.
No eres la única persona por quien volví. Me cortó la lana, cerró la llave, no funciona ninguna tarjeta, todas mis cuentas están bloqueadas, me quiere robar a mis hijos. Están Arturo como un grupo de niños. Si alguien dice otra cosa, les voy a pegar en la boca.
And many people were agreeing with him,
saying that Selena was genuinely miscast and that she should have never had this role, let alone the director changed a lot of authentic parts just to fit her specifically, which Eugenio also brings up in this podcast, where he said that he met the producer and that it was just a wild experience because the producer is only fluent in French. And obviously this isn't a bad thing. There are so many excellent directors and producers out there who are of different cultures who really nail making films about other people's journeys and cultures and people. However, it is a problem when this director said himself that he didn't need to do any more research on Mexican culture, that what he knew was enough, which was gang violence, acting crazy, and Selena Gomez. Yeah, that definitely explains a lot. Eugenio dared to say the stuff that a lot of people were thinking when this film came out. The whole thing just was distasteful. Pretty soon, this clip of Eugenio started to not only go viral on Mexican social media, but also American social media. And oh man, did it piss off and trigger the no sabo kids. They were calling him an old man who knows nothing, that he's not even good in English. So why is he talking? Oh, Eugenio is just an old man of the past. Selena Gomez is the future. And even then, apart from the whole no sabo thing being so controversial, this in itself was really controversial because just as no sabos are always being criticized for never knowing their own culture, people from Mexico seeing Mexican American youngsters talk badly about Eugenio without actually knowing who he is also started a whole separate problem. Like, guys, this is such a mess. But basically, if you guys don't know who Eugenio is, he is basically like an icon in Mexican TV, movies, and film, which is why he was so comfortable criticizing Selena in her roles. Eugenio Derbez is an actor and producer who is known for his roles in film and television, from Mexican TV such as Familia Peluche, movies such as Coda, an Oscar-winning film that also earned him a SAG award, and also Shrek.
Y en la mañana, yo preparo los tamales.
And that in itself is enough to respect him. So bro knows what he's talking about, yet so many people were pissed off at him, which I understand why some people were upset about what he said, even though he was right. But anyways, because again, like I said earlier in this video, criticizing people's Spanish within younger generations of Latinos and Latinas is just a very controversial topic in general. And since Selena has a very close relationship with a lot of Gen Z Latinos, especially ones that are no sabo, it just makes for a really massive political mess almost. And all of this mess actually garnered the attention of Selena Gomez.
She says, I understand where you are coming from. I'm sorry, I did the best I could with the time I was given. Doesn't take away from how much work and heart I put into this movie. Also, do not ever say my fans are the problem standing up, as you say for me. As always, Selena had an excuse or some sort of defense, because I swear you're never allowed to criticize her. Her fans jump on you and execute you and burn you at the stake, Elphaba style. But she herself just cannot stand any form of criticism without trying to make other people feel bad for trying to criticize her.
No puedo creer que nadie esté hablando de eso. No puedo creer que nadie...
Porque les da miedo hablar de Selena Gomez.
Sí.
It's okay to criticize Selena Gomez every now and then. I know people make it seem like it's like one of the biggest 7 deadly sins, but no one is exempt from criticism, especially billionaires. Every criticism you could ever have for Selena Gomez, she always has like 10 defenses. Her main defense is that there wasn't enough time to learn the language, but also, sis, you're a billionaire that could have learned like 10 years ago, last year, just in general, because that is a very lifelong criticism that she's been having for years. Or if you don't feel comfortable with the role, then maybe you just shouldn't have taken it.
So for people criticizing other people for criticizing her Spanish, just keep in mind that Selena has had time. She's had her whole life and all the resources in the world to properly learn about the culture and language. Even before this film, in general, this has been a massive criticism because she continuously tries to represent Mexican American culture without putting in the actual work, but yet reaping all its benefits. And also for people saying that the director of Emilia Pérez wrote this specific role for Selena Gomez, need to stop bringing that up, because no, he didn't. The original intention was to cast a full native Mexican person who can speak the language fluently, but he shifted and changed the role just for her. So these defenses are no longer applicable. And even then, with her saying that no, her fans don't attack people, I will bet y'all anything that even me making this video is gonna send me a lot of hate. And it even sent Eugenio so much hate that he had to apologize to Selena for hurting her feelings.
Someone once said that Selena is the J-Lo of Gen Z, and honestly, I cannot agree more. But not only that, so many actors have gone through extreme transformations or learned languages for the sake of a role in much like smaller amounts of time. Like Natalie Portman in Black Swan. She spent a year training in ballet for up to 8 hours a day to convincingly portray a professional dancer, and she also won an Oscar. Or Rami Malek in Bohemian Rhapsody, which also has music, learned to move and perform like Freddie Mercury, also including vocal training so that he could also sing the notes that Freddie Mercury was singing. So I don't understand why so many actors can push themselves to achieve so much in such little time, but for some reason, simply because it's Selena Gomez, we have to continuously infantilize her, feel bad for her, act as if she's not a grown woman with all the resources in the world, because it's the same thing. And you have to put in the work and dedication when you're also portraying a certain culture. And I don't know why that's an offensive thing to say. Again, it just always feels like whenever it comes to our culture and our community, we're like just not allowed to complain about anything or ask for proper representation, and I don't know why that is. But if you're an actor, yes, you can put your heart and soul into it, but you also got to do your research. I think the person that got the most heat for this was Selena, even though I think that's not fair, because truly it was everyone involved in this project, especially the director's fault.
And clearly he didn't know or do his research on Selena Gomez and how she's such a controversial figure in the Mexican American community. So unfortunately, it was all just a very bad mix. Selena
Selena did the best with what she had and what she could, despite having unlimited resources. But anyways, truly at the end of the day, this is the fault of the director for even falling short in this category. Even though this movie is supposed to take place in Mexico, even the other actors who aren't Mexican and are in fact Spaniard or Dominican don't have Mexican accents at all and are clearly from Spain. And again, it's just like, how come every film can be accurate except when it comes to like cultural films? Very often I feel like just in our culture, when it comes to the music industry, the filming industry and stuff, it's kind of like we're handed like, well, it's good enough for me, so it should be good enough for you. You gotta just deal with it. Even though it's like, well, we deserve proper representation and for people to get our culture right and stuff. I don't see why that's such a bad thing. Despite the most important thing about the film being the plot, the representation, the impact, the whole spectacle, if you will. All of this is being shoved into one thing, which is a musical. Not only are people singing about sex change operations, being a gang member, it just seems like an overall mess. There was no consistency to the film, which is like the craziest thing you can accomplish, is making a musical with bad music.
Yes.
I have something to admit to you guys. And you know, I believe in transparency on my channel. And you guys know, who've been watching me for a while, I love music, okay? I often make my own music. I'm trying to get back on that, you know, the choo-choo train and stuff. I love art. I love anything art. And musicals for me are the most magical things that humans ever created, other than grated cheese, which I really love. Something that a lot of you may not know is that singing for me and music for me is something that has been a massive deal in my life ever since I was a kid. Singing in church, doing choir for 5 years, and doing theater in college. The first movie musical that I ever saw that literally altered my brain chemistry was The Sound of Music.
My heart wants to sing every song it hears.
Julie Andrews to me was everything, and honestly still is. And there began my love of musical movies, musical anything, and also Broadway musicals and musical adaptations. And there I would start to deep dive into very crappily videotaped, you know, 3-pixeled frames of musicals on YouTube. And of course, one of these musicals was Wicked, with Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth.
I will now transform your simple frock into a beautiful ball gown. Ball gown. Ball gown. Just hang on.
And I was addicted to it. Of course, Wicked has very iconic musical pieces to it, but something that not a lot of people know who aren't into musicals is that Wicked is actually a very, interestingly enough, political piece of artwork. So when I heard that it was being made into an adaptive film, I was extremely excited, but also cautiously optimistic, especially because musicals kind of have a bad rap when it comes to them being adapted to film. I mean, just recently we had the major flop that was Mean Girls.
Get our party now.
Find the note. Find the note.
And it seems like just the running theme of musicals in general being adapted to film tend to be flops. There's kind of like a history about that. So a lot of people, including me, were kind of like, I really hope that they don't fail with Wicked. And at first, just like Emilia Pérez, people were complaining about the casting. People were complaining about some of the vocals, the performances, and even Ariana, also being an ex-child actor, being put into the film. And to an extent, some people were even bothered about racial casting, including Ariana. She truly is the ultimate shapeshifter. I think at this point, we're all waiting for her Latina era.
Should have known it's Holly weird. I should have known they'd try to make it woke in the ways that they could think of. Let's just start with the fact that they have Ariana Grande, who is obviously a Hispanic woman, playing the part of a ditzy blonde white, really villain when it comes right down to it.
but now she's in her back to being white era. But just like Emilia Pérez, they had a lot of similar criticisms. But when it came to Wicked finally being out and into movies, I went to go see it with my husband, I went to go see it with my sister, and then I went to go see it again with my best friend, and then I saw it again with my best friend because it was so amazing. Everything about it was perfect. The casting for Elphaba, perfect. Cynthia Erivo's vocals, insane. Ariana Grande blew everyone's expectations out of the water and played a really good Glinda that I am not sad that it won Best Film of the Year from the Golden Globes. But to also not get Best Musical was very strange because everything that Emilia Pérez tried doing in their musical was everything Wicked exceeded at exponentially, despite having bad beginnings that Emilia Pérez has where people were mad about casting, representation, and so much more. And believe it or not, both films have so much more commonalities. And it's kind of crazy to say that Wicked actually did a much better job at representing marginalized people in a fantasy land where people can fly in the sky with bubbles than an actual dark reality drama like Emilia Pérez was attempting to sadly do for Mexicans, Latino culture, and transgender people. Now, if you guys haven't seen Wicked, first of all, don't talk to me. Second of all, let me tell you a little bit about it. Wicked is the prequel to The Wizard of Oz that tells the story of Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, and her journey to becoming one of Oz's most misunderstood villains, but also hero, and how she joins forces with Glinda, the Good Witch, their friendship, their falling out of friendship, beautifully and neatly wrapped up into a musical bow with iconic pieces such as Defying Gravity, Popular, The Wizard and I,
and the one that we don't talk about.
Despite the film being fantasy based, there's actually a really huge political message in Wicked. The plot delves into themes of power, discrimination, manipulation, and the consequences of unchecked privilege and ambition, which can also be said about Emilia Pérez. Wicked carries a significant amount of social commentary, even down to animal rights, with the animals in Oz being captured and tortured and stripped away of their rights to teach, preach, and just be in Oz, as well as the prejudice against Elphaba, who has green skin, where many people treat her like she's evil, despite her being very caring and how she possibly views herself as wicked. And of course, her friend to be, Glinda, who is a rich, very wealthy, privileged, and well-liked individual from the upper uplands at Shiz University, who often uses her privilege and power to appear as if she's an ally, and through her friendship with Elphaba learns to be genuinely good. Elphaba's green skin shows discrimination and prejudice, especially in a world where there is an illusion of power. The Wizard of Oz represents a false image of control and greatness, manipulating the people of Oz with illusions, which reflects the real-world tendency of governments, leaders, and people in power that do everything to mask their true intentions by using propaganda, violence, or spectacle. This film also delves into the nature of good and evil, just as the Emilia Pérez film tries to do with their main character trying to leave behind their narco past to become something new and better. In Wicked, the musical challenges the traditional black and white morality of fairy tales by showing that good and evil aren't always clear-cut. Elphaba's actions, though often seen as wicked, come from a desire to fight for justice, while others who appear good are often complicit in the oppressive systems, such as Glinda. At the end of the film, Elphaba sings the song Defying Gravity, which to this day has become a massive staple in the musical community because it's a song about her finally defying people's expectations, honing back her power, and accepting herself, flaws and all, but is also scared of how the world views her, how her future is going to be impacted by this new change, just as the main character in Emilia Pérez. Emilia Pérez, like Wicked, attempts to explore deep social themes, but it falls short due to its problematic execution and missteps. While both stories address similar topics like discrimination, power dynamics, identity, the fluidity of good and evil, Emilia Pérez is failing to deliver these messages effectively, musically, and every other area. They go about gang violence in a superficial way. They go about trans people's struggles in a very surface level way as well. And whereas Wicked shows how false power and manipulation can lead to danger, Emilia Pérez romanticizes cartels and makes it seem as though all that violence can be put aside by just one dinner and one apology, when in reality that's not how it works, especially since Emilia Pérez is supposed to be more of a a reality-based film, despite its musicality. Emilia Pérez oversimplifies good and evil, reducing very complex backstories and characters to caricatures of villainy or victimhood without truly exploring deeper motives or gray areas. Both stories do address power dynamic and societal corruption through music. And the music in Wicked helps you really feel the depth of what the characters are feeling through foreshadowing and those very nice private moments between you and the characters, which feels a lot more intentional and impactful and intimate.
Wicked Part 1, all of the songs serve a purpose, whether it is to explain what a character is going through or the current context of the scene that you're watching. And unlike in Emilia Pérez, music in Wicked provokes thought. It isn't a mess to show that a character is angry. It makes you really think. For example, a lot of people who watch the beginning of Wicked, which opens with "No one mourns the wicked," many people at first hearing and glance may think that Glinda has turned her back against Elphaba, burning a statue of her friend, calling her friend wicked, and that she's going to die alone. But in reality, No One Mourns the Wicked is about Glinda herself and how she regrets not going with Elphaba the day that Elfie offered to fly her on her broomstick to run away with her. And therefore, she is the one who is wicked, and she is the one who is going to die alone, which makes this piece so much more beautiful. When it comes to more intimate musical pieces, such as I'm Not That Girl, this piece is definitely my top 3 favorites in all of Wicked. This song single-handedly describes so perfectly what so many women of color and just so many neurodivergent girls have gone through, where there's this burden of feeling like you're not like other girls, and not in a pick-me sort of sense, but feeling like there's something genuinely wrong with you and wishing you could just be prettier, better, more likable. And this song really resonated deeply with so many women that it also became a trend on TikTok for women of color to talk about their younger selves with this song. And that is very impactful. Or Galinda's very popular song, Popular, at first sounds very quirky and fun. But when you deep dive into the lyrics, Galinda is trying to teach Elphaba that being popular isn't about being pretty, smart, or any of that stuff. But in actuality, many political figures and heads of state lack brains and knowledge, but the only reason why people listen to them is because they're loud and can play the part. In a way, through the song Popular, Linda's admitting to Elphaba that what she sees on the outside isn't actually Galinda either, so therefore they are the same. And if Galinda can tap into that social status and make people like her more, so can Elphaba, which is what leads her onto a path of becoming the good witch in The Wizard of Oz, despite her not really wanting to. But she has perfected her role for years of playing someone who people can trust, even though she can't trust herself, and the only person she does trust is Elphaba. The music in Wicked come to you with purpose, meant to make you think and feel emotion, a wide range of emotions.
But it seems like the music in Emilia Pérez is just played out as a joke, or almost like filler to just get the film going to a conclusion that truly leads to nowhere.
Overall, Emilia Pérez is meant to be a much darker musical, which isn't uncommon in the musical realm. Musicals like Sweeney Todd, Heathers, Little Shop of Horrors are known to have musical pieces that are about much darker content and themes. The reason why I bring this up is because I don't want people to misinterpret this section saying that what makes a good musical is for the music to be more lighthearted and dramatic, because not really. But what makes a good musical is for it to be dynamic. A lot of the music in Emilia Pérez is strangely composed. It was very clear that they tried going for more of a modern, edgy, mysterious vibe to the music, but it just comes off as a bunch of shambles, just this big knot of a mess of music that doesn't go together. And the worst part is that the vocals sound like they're trying to catch up with these chaotic beats, and then on top of that, the lyrics are just not the best. There are a lot of lyrics that just are saying the same thing over and over again, and I don't know if they thought it ate, but it really didn't. There's a song called Lady in Emilia Pérez, and the lyrics are dead ass. If he's a he, she'll be a he. If he's a she, she'll be a she. If he's a wolf, she'll be a wolf. If he's the wolf, you'll be his sheep. And literally not 3 verses later, they say changing the body changes society, changing society changes the soul, changing the soul changes society, changing society changes it all.
I'm not gagging.
And the delivery of the tone isn't even singing, by the way, so... And that's the main problem with a lot of the music in this film, is that all of this just could have not been a musical, or, you know, since they did want this to be a musical, then they probably should have just worked with other people to make sure that the lyrics and content and themes go in harmony with the music, because all of it just isn't matching. The opening song, El Alagato, is a mix of rap, orchestra, and techno elements. Yeah, overall, the music in Emilia Pérez is very devoid of melodies. It's very overstuffed with content and lyrics that it's just not... It's not very moving, palatable, which is crazy why Emilia Pérez won Musical of the Year and Wicked won Film of the Year. Because objectively speaking, if we're talking about musical elements, it would definitely go over to Wicked. But also, Film of the Year would also go to Wicked.
There are so many similarities, yet the outcomes were completely different. You can tell the director, the actors, and even people who were criticized for their casting, such as Ariana Grande, put in so much work to truly help execute the projects really well. Even Ariana said that the director first denied her and said to come back when you truly do take the role of Glinda seriously. And honestly, that should have happened with a lot of the cast members in Emilia Pérez.
I care so deeply about Wicked that I didn't want this if it meant I weren't right for it, because I wanted the reason why I wanted this role to be performance-based. I wanted to earn it. And I had a deep sense that if I'm not right for this, that's okay.
But instead, it felt like Emilia Pérez just said yes to anyone who was a star branded cast so that they could immediately become successful. It really did feel like a Golden Globe grab, especially with the director honing in on themes that are really prevalent to modern day society, with the hatred of trans people and just Latinos in general right now. It just seems like they just wanted to profit off of it, or just make this woke film that older rich white men were going to eat up because they mistake scenes like this
Mi padrote? Sí. ¿Te crees para decirme eso, vieja lencha?
for being passionate and empowering, when in reality literally everyone in each community were like, this is literally like a mockery of our culture and our community. But okay, so how is it that a film that was so heavily and rightfully criticized for ignoring these communities, yet making a film about it, flopping musically and casting and everything, win a Golden Globe? It's because the people who are in charge of the Golden Globes truly, in my opinion, only did it to appease the culture, I guess,
or what they thought was the transgender community and Mexican culture.
But not only that, I wouldn't put it beyond them to think that this movie was like transformative and impactful and culturally revolutionary, because what they saw as mysterious, serious, exotic, and socially electrifying, the passion, when in reality this is a film filled with
stereotypes, inauthenticity, flat storylines, terrible music, unintentionally hilarious moments despite it being a serious film, lacking character, integrity, purpose, overall just bad. And because of this film getting so much criticism, making so many communities rightfully upset at the casting, the music, the director, multiple people who worked on the project have come out to actually apologize. Selena Gomez recognizes time and time again in many interviews that she could have done better and she didn't do very well.
I'm going to diminish myself a little bit here. This has nothing to do with the film. I think I am honored to be a part of it. I'm not as happy with what I feel like I could have done in Spanish, but it's more overall. I hope that it doesn't hinder my performance, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity. Perhaps I could have had more time with it, but I was full throttle, and I wanted to be a part of this so badly.
And even the director himself made a personal apology to Mexico for being culturally insensitive.
The French director Jacques Audiard finally apologized to Mexico after the recent backlash by Mexican viewers that the film has been receiving. In an interview with CNN, which has been translated from French to Spanish to English, he said this. To the Mexican viewers, he said, "If there are things that seem scandalous to you, I apologize." What I would like to say is that I'm not trying to provide answers. Cinema doesn't provide answers, cinema only poses questions. And perhaps the questions posed in Emilia are incorrect. Maybe I simply found them interesting. I didn't want to, and I don't want to be pretentious. It simply seemed to me that there are questions in Emilia that seem to be universal questions.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But the damage has already been done. Emilia Pérez won a Golden Globe, forever being sedimented in history as a great, quote-unquote, great work of art. Everyone who participated in this project has already got their pockets full and are apologizing afterwards. But people are still angry. So angry that in Mexico right now, people are planning to boycott the movie being shown in Mexico.
Este 15 de enero se estrena Emilia Pérez en México. Propio director, puedan ganarse sus premios. No son los mexicanos ni los latinoamericanos hablando mal de tu película, Carla Sofía. Es que la película y sobre todo su director y ustedes le faltan al respeto a nuestras historias. Porque cuando un artista realmente respeta la inspiración de su obra, lo abraza.
Art is subjective. Art is complex. Art can be light. It can be dark. It can be everything in between. Art can be fantasy. It can be reality. It can be a mix of both. And art can even make you angry and disturb you or make you feel connected. But Emilia Pérez time and time again misses the mark to be consistent, to engage you emotionally, and to be authentic, lacking in depth, sincerity, and emotional weight in order to push boundaries and become culturally explosive or even leave a lasting impression. But instead, it's left only one lasting impression, and memorable and memeable moment.
Penis to vagina.
I don't know if one can lose a Golden Globe Award or get it revoked, but maybe this is a case where we gotta look into it happening because this is just sad, man.
Hasta me duele la pinche vulva nada más de acordarme de ti.
I am disgusted.
But alas, what do you expect from people with no taste? To quote Wicked, did they have brains or knowledge? No. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched the entire thing to the end, comment down a duck emoji down below so that I know that you guys watched the entire thing. If you did, you win an internet hug. Hooray! I know that this video was so long, but truly if you did watch the entire thing, thank you so much for hearing me out. Or if you got mad the whole time, that's not my fault anyways, because I was right, and many people agree with me. But anyways, of course, as always, if you do disagree with me, y'all are allowed to do that. Just do so respectfully, or else I will block you. I don't care. I will pull a Selena Gomez. I do not care. But I still would like to hear what you guys think. You guys think Wicked should have won? Did you guys even watch Emilia Pérez? Let me know. Remember to like this video, share it with your friends, with your grandma, with the Pope. Like truly, I don't care who, just make sure to share it. Remember to subscribe and click the notification bell by the subscribe button so you know whenever I upload. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on my Instagram at _Tovar_. My New Year's resolution is to truly upload more, and I know I said every single video, I promise guys, I promise. Just believe in me, please. And with that being said, I also have a podcast, so go ahead and listen to that. It's called the Selena Tovar Podcast on Apple Music, at Spotify, all of that. Stay tuned for my next video, and of course, I hope you guys have an amazing beginning of your year. Stick around because there's going to be so much more messiness to deep dive into on my channel. And with all of that being said, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat and listen to the Wicked soundtrack. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.